Hola, I'm Jordan, and this is a Spanish Quickie. Fast, easy Spanish lessons from somebody who speaks your language. In this video, we're gonna start to get into the meat and potatoes of Spanish and go over the personal pronouns. You know, I, you, he, she, we, they, that stuff. Personal pronouns in Spanish are pretty easy and straightforward. The words are small and they work generally the way they do in English. But there are a couple common pitfalls for gringos like you and me. Formal, informal, Latin America versus Spain. But don't worry, that's what we're here to talk about today. Let's jump right in. Here you see a typical conjugation chart filled with the English personal pronouns. What's that? Could I explain the chart? No, I'm sorry, I can't. If you don't understand what's going on in this chart, please go back and watch the video called The Spanish Infinitive and Conjugation. I don't want to waste everybody else's time because you didn't watch the video like I told you to. Okay, here's a conjugation chart filled with all the English personal pronouns. Like I said in the opener, personal pronouns generally work in Spanish like they do in English. You can say the pizza is good, but if it's already apparent to those you're talking to that you're speaking of the pizza, you can just say it is good. It instead of the pizza. I is yo in Spanish. If you've never seen this before, it might seem strange at first because it's just Y-O, yo. But I promise you'll get used to it quickly, and if you think about it, I is pretty weird itself. Then you, singular, since we're on the left side here, is two. I find that to be incredibly easy since two sounds so much like you. Then he is el, and she is ella. El and ella can also both mean it, so be ready to see that, but in the end it's pretty rare. Okay, going to the plural side here, we is nosotros. I remember that was quite weird for me at first. I don't know why. Maybe because it's such a long word for our little word we, or maybe just because it's kind of a weird word. Regardless, we is nosotros. Then you plural is vosotros or vosotras. If you both are boys, it's vosotros. If you both are girls, it's vosotras. If one of you is a boy and one of you is a girl, it's vosotros. But at the beginning, if you confuse the masculine feminine thing, it usually doesn't matter. Then in this last spot, ellos is they for boys and ellas is they for girls. Just like vosotros, vosotras, if it's a mixed group, you go with the masculine version, ellos. That's simple, no? Just memorize those words and you're good. Well, it's time to rain on your parade. The biggest pitfall is the formal-informal situation. We don't have anything like this in English, but in Spanish, they have two versions of you. One is informal, the other is formal. The words I just taught you, tú, vosotros, vosotras, are the informal words. The formal version of you singular is usted, and the formal version of you plural is ustedes. Not difficult words to learn, just a bit of a pain in the butt at first because there's two different kinds of yous. In Latin America, they generally use usted and ustedes. So if you plan on using your Spanish only in Latin America, it's easier to just go with usted and ustedes every single time. In fact, no matter where you are, that's the safe way. You can never have too much respect. In Latin America, they also use the word tú. That means you, normal or informal, remember? They just use it less often than in Spain. But in Latin America, they never ever use vosotros or vosotras, unless they're making fun of people or trying to talk like old English. It's an old traditional form that's never used in Latin America. Now, in Spain, things are a lot more informal generally. In Spain, they usually use tú and vosotros, the informal words. But they also use usted and ustedes. It's just reserved to show more respect for older people for sure. If you say you with usted instead of tú, it's kind of like building sir into it. So tú is just you, but usted is basically you, sir. Now, I'm purposely avoiding giving you any specific verb conjugations in Spanish so far because it can get pretty confusing pretty fast. And to be honest, at the beginning, as long as you have the personal pronouns correct, you don't even have to conjugate the verb at all. That might sound crazy, that verb conjugation doesn't really matter that much at the beginning, but if you just say the personal pronoun and the verb in any form, you'll almost always be understood. It might be clunky and ugly, but it'll get the job done and we'll smoothen it out in upcoming videos. Right now, your mission is to go memorize those 10 personal pronouns utilizing the flashcard strategy. If you don't know what that is, then watch the video called the Flashcard Strategy. It will get you high. The 10 words you need to memorize for this lesson are listed nicely for you at gringoespanol.com gringoespanol.com/personal-pronouns. So go there now and make your flashcards. That link is also below this video. 10 words. It doesn't take long, and by adding these 10 words to your arsenal, you're increasing your Spanish powers immensely. We are getting somewhere. If you haven't signed up for the Gringo Español newsletter, do that now. The link is below this video, or go to gringoespanol.com, fill in your email address, and click Get Updates. If you're relying on Facebook to tell you about my new videos, you're doing the wrong thing. Facebook is showing all updates like this less and less on your newsfeed, so the only way to guarantee you'll see every lesson is by signing up for the newsletter. I won't pound you with tons of emails. Once or twice a week, I'll send you an email with links to the new lessons and whatever extra stuff I have for you to practice. So go to gringoespanol.com right now and sign up. I'll see you next time. Hasta luego.